Hello everyone, my name is Mouse Tutorial and today I'm gonna show you how to add a name to your block. Now you might say this is really easy, but it is not. The way I am gonna set this up is I'm gonna have different language files. So you can add different languages for your mod, for your item names and your block names. And what this also allows you is other people can suggest translations. I cannot speak Chinese, so I don't know what the translation of my block would be. Now, someone in China could suggest a translation for me and I could add that to my language file. So that's a really easy way to add different translations. So I'm going to show you how to set this up right now. This is going to take a while, so don't expect to be done in like 50 seconds like other tutorials do. It's going to take a bit longer. So the way I'm going to handle this is I'm going to have a central class to handle registering and adding blocks, which is this class. As you could see right here, I was making a new block and I cast that to another class. So I see the central class as this class. Now it's gonna cast to this class, which is block1 class. I can have another class and then another class, which basically hold the information about the block. The information that will be different for every block. And then I want to have these blocks coming together in another class, which adds the languages and the textures, so I don't have to do that for every block itself. So currently we don't have this file, so let's actually add that. And I like to do that the following way. I want to create a new class in the package top.block, top.block. And I want to call that block top. So it's going to hold all the information about every block in my mod class. And this is going to extend block. Now you might say, hey, we already have extended block right here. That's true, so let's change that to block top. And let's here import block. Now again, Ctrl-Shift-O solves the import issues. And select net.minecraft.block.block. Now we want to add a method here, public block. It needs an int ID and a material, and I'm gonna call that material. Now why does it need this? Because we are casting this, which is an integer and a material, to the block top class. So we need an integer and a material. And once again we are also gonna call that to the superclass, which in this case is the block. So import the needed stuff, int ID, material. Okay, this is something that Eclipse does sometimes. It doesn't recognize your setup, so it's going to create its own setup. Don't worry about it, you can just change it again here. I don't know why it does that, but it just doesn't get it. Now it should be fine. Okay. So now we have that central class that can handle the textures and the names. Now to handle the names we need to add one more thing, and that is only gonna apply to the client side. So the server doesn't have to do anything, just sit there and watch. So this is only gonna apply to side.client. And what we want to do is we want to override a method which is already in the block class. And that method is public void register icon. We need an icon register. I'm gonna call it register. And no, that's all we need. And now let's go take a look at my class. Oh, that's my recordings. This is the CZO class, which you have seen before. And if I go to my language files right here, and I open up the properties, you can see that the location is a bunch, and at the end of a bunch there is a slash, and then there is the name. So what we want is we only want from the last slash the en_us.xml. That's the only part we want. So how do we do that? We go back into Eclipse, of course. And what we want is this dot, block icon is register dot register icon. Now we need a string to register. And that's going to be first the reference.modID. So it's going to get TOP. Then we want to add a column. And then this is the confusing part. We want to get whatever casts it to this class. We want to get the unlocalized name. And we don't want to get the whole name. We just want a substring. And we want the substring of this dot get unlocalized name. So whatever block is casting, we want to get at the index of the dot. So I will show you what this means in a bit. And we want to add 1 to this. Add 1. So what does this mean? Let's, for example, take this. This is new block, but it is actually called top.newBlock. So what we do is we register the icon top column, and we want to get a substring from the dot, which is .newBlock. And we want to add 1, so it's going to skip the dot and it's only going to give us new block. So this is going to give us top column new block. And we want to register that icon. Now to register the icon, we need to call something that is going to register. And we are going to do that in the pre-init. We're going to load languages. Okay, like that. Now what we want to do is we want to add 3 more classes. One that's gonna handle the language loading. One is gonna help handling the language. And one that is gonna have the basic values of the languages. So which one do we add first? Let me think. We want to create the handler first. Now what I like to do is, and we have an error, of course we do. I want to create a new package. And I want to create com.martijn.top.core, and core is gonna have the handlers, the helpers, the proxies, and a bit more. And in this case I want to create a handler. So create that package and create a new class, which is gonna be localization handler. So this again is gonna handle our localization, which is adding the names. And we want to add a method in here, public static void load languages. Once again, that's what we are calling right here. And let's save. We want to open up brackets and we want to say the following. For string localization file. So we're gonna have a bunch of files. For example, we're gonna have the English, the Dutch translation, the Chinese translation, and so on. And for every file, for every string in a specific location, and that's gonna be localization.local files. This is gonna have all the files in it. Let me show that real quick in my CZO. So as you can see here, I have the English, but I could also add the Chinese. And for every language there is, we want to load that localization file. Now once we have loaded that localization file, we want to language register language registry, sorry, dot instance dot load language file, dot load localization. Now we need a string, which is going to be the localization file. Just copy what I say. Now we need a, oh, sorry, pardon me. No, sorry. Now we need a language, and this is going to be a localization helper. That's helper dot get local from file name. Let's actually create that because this might be a little bit confusing now. So what I want to do is create a new package. com.martijn.top.core.helper. Create a new class. I will go over what I did exactly in a bit. So localization helper. Hit finish. Okay, so it's created that. Now we want to add a few methods in here. First one being public static boolean. So this can return true or false. Is XML a language file? Language file. Because if we open up this load languageization, it needs to have a localization file, a language, and it needs to know if it is a XML file. So we need to be able to see if it is an XML file. And that's really easy to do. We just need a string, and that's going to be the file name. Now what do we do with that file name? Well, we return, so it's going to return true or false, if the file name dot ends with .xml. So if it ends on XML, it's going to return true, and it is an XML file. Now we also want to add public static string get local from file name, and that's the method I just used in the localization handler. We also need a string file name for this. So what is this gonna do? Well, it's just gonna get the substring of the language file. So we'll return file name dot substring. Oh, so we just want a piece of it, and we want file name dot index of dot last index of. When we have multiple forward slashes, it's gonna give us an error. So we only want the last forward slash, and we want to add one, because otherwise it's gonna start with forward slash, and we don't want that. And we also need to say where it should end. Now it should end on file name dot last index of a dot. So what is this gonna do? If we take a look at my GitHub, it is gonna look to the last forward slash, and it's gonna end on the last dot. So it's only gonna get this piece. That's gonna be the substring. So that's great. Now we have that en_us. Now we want to add one more method. That's the final one in this class. Public static string get localization string. This is going to be clear what it is in a moment. So just add it for now. Return language registry dot instance dot get string location key. What is this gonna do? It's gonna see, okay, here is the key, and what is the key? Well, this is the key. So I want to give this name to whatever this key is. So now we have that handler set up, we can finalize our, we have set up the helper, now we can finalize our handler. So we need the localization file and we already got that. So that's great. Now we need the local name. So that's the en_us. And we also need to know if it is an XML file. And we created a method for that, and that was blah blah blah. Localization helper dot is file. So now we still have a few errors because we need to add a few things. Now we first need to create a file called localizations, and that's going to be inside our lib directory. So new class localizations, and this is going to hold all the language files we have. So what we want to type is private, because no one else needs to have access to it, no need to. Static final string lang resource location. That's going to be equal to, and in my case it was sys.o/language/en localization mods czo lang. So it was in mods czo lang. Now what is that for us? It is mods/top/lang. It's going to be clear in a moment why. Now we need to add one more thing: public static string array local files, and that's going to be equal to lang resource location plus, and we want to add our language file. For now we only have en/us.xml, but if you have more, you can always add them to this array. So now you say, okay, are we done? No, we are not. In fact, we are, actually we are pretty close, but not there yet. And it's gonna give me an error, so let's add localization handler dot. Should fix it. Import fixed. Now we have one more error here. Localizations, create a localizations. Should fix it. Localization file. Oh, location. Okay, derp. That's this one. Okay, this should fix it. So if you have some errors, just look up what's wrong. It should be really easy to find what is wrong, as you could see right in my example. So now let's close everything down because I want some order. I want to have some, I can see what I'm doing. So my block top is now gonna add the name, but we don't have that file that has my language file yet. So what we want to do is we want to go to our workspace. We want to go to source, top common, resources. We want to create a new folder here, mods. We want to create inside here a new folder, top. And inside here we want to create a new folder, language, lang. That's the, that's the string that we defined up here. So mods top lang. Now we want to create a new file there. So just click new and whatever you want, and call that en_us.xml. And that's gonna change whatever it is. And now we want to open it up with Notepad. Now this needs a specific layout, so just copy that from my GitHub and paste it in. I'm gonna delete these two. Now because we have a block, it's gonna be a tile. Now what you want right here is the exact name of what you gave it right. Have I done that already? Oh, this one. No, I haven't done that already. So this dot set and localization name. So you want to set it equal to whatever is in here. So going back to our name file, I want to set it to new block.name, and now I can add my block name right there. So save it and close it down, save everything in this file and start your Minecraft up. So let's see if I have made no mistakes. I hope so. Okay, it's gonna take some time to load, or we have a crash. I hope it's gonna take some time to load, and yes, it's gonna take some time to load, fortunately. Open up our world. And we have no name yet. Okay, there are two things that I forgot to mention, actually three. First one, add a / right here, because otherwise it will say lang en underscore us.xml. It won't work, so add a / there. Also add a / there. That's also gonna give us problems. And the main reason why it didn't work for me is because I didn't reload the resources. So you want to right click on resources and you want to click refresh. A arrow should appear and then the file should be there. There was no arrow right here indicating that my language file wasn't loaded in Eclipse. What you also can do is just restart Eclipse, whatever you like. So just for good just to show you that it now does work, and I'm not lying my ass off, is to show you that my block is in the game. Yes, I opened a few new worlds to try it out. It took me a fairly long time to notice that I didn't reload my resources, and there it is, my block name. So now you know how to add a language file. You can also add more languages, of course, by just adding more strings in here. You can also add more keys, or how else should I call it? You can also add more names, I should call it right like that, by adding new lines here. Blocks are called tiles, items are called item, and so on. So in the next tutorial I will teach you how to set up your texture. So we are gonna give our block a texture. So I hope I'll see you next time. Please subscribe on my channel to stay informed and to see when new tutorials are out. And fork me on GitHub so you can see my source code. I will again upload this to GitHub. Follow me on Twitter. I will post something on Twitter when I post something on YouTube, and leave a like, and I hope I'll see you next time. This was Mouse Tutorial. I'll see you next time.